Hello and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sports for today's French press conference reaction. I was hoping to get the actual video out, and we still might. We're just trying to sort of struggling with the translation stuff. But we were at the press conference yesterday. A very interesting press conference itself. Obviously, you're building up to the quarterfinal this weekend against South Africa, and a lot of interesting questions being asked about. Obviously, a lot about Anton Dupont, and then about the South African team. And very interesting to sort of see where the aspects of the South African game that are being picked up and being focused on going into the game, and what the sort of players are being asked with regards to where they expect the challenges to be, or where the press really sort of are sort of picking up where they expect the challenges to be and how the players are preparing for that. So it's very interesting to sort of get a different perspective. Obviously, as a South African fan, we kind of focus on what the Boks are good at and maybe also what we're bad at. And interesting to see what the opposition sort of talk about with regards to where they worry about other teams, like the Boks, for example. So before we go to some of the quotes, we have it was the forwards coach William Survey, as well as I think it was Anthony Gelanche, and yeah, I think it was those are the two that was there. I think Reddy Wadi and Tuba Flamon was there as well. Unfortunately, my translation app sort of stopped halfway through, so I couldn't really understand all of it. But yeah, let's go through it, shall we? So he was asked a little bit about. He's asked by Anton Dupont as fitness, and he said that we've been talking for 2 weeks now. Anton is doing very well. He needed to recuperate. He's been involved in the team's strategic choice and the changes we're making to the game. Today, he's even more involved. He's back with us, and he's very active in training. So, yeah, I think the main thing is he never really left the camp. He was always there, and whilst he has been recovering, he's been there every step of the way. So, I think I expect him to start, actually, to be honest. He was then asked about the physicality of South Africans, and he says, there are always matches where the commitment is incredible. Take Portugal, a team that showed everyone that our sport is a fighting sport. As long as the spirit of our team is there and the players are willing to make sacrifices, these teams can do incredible things. Every nation knows how difficult it will be when they play South Africa. He says South Africa are a team that makes a mark, a big and strong team. They cultivate this and bring a physical dimension that makes it difficult for teams playing against them. The French team, with our Latin side and our pride, our players are able to rise to the challenge, and not long ago in Marseille. We're preparing for this kind of thing, and the match will be of rare intensity as it was in November. I hope the medical staff are ready because players are queuing up for the concussion protocol. Were queuing up for concussion protocol back last year. He said, one thing's for sure, the French will rise to the enormous challenge. Um, he said, on adapting the defensive plans for the turning of Anton Dupont, he says, Anton Dupont is one of the best defenders in the team, and he's 100%. There's no reason to change anything. He was then asked about Rassie Erasmus's comments, and he says, I don't think there's a lot to interpret. Rassie is well versed in this kind of exercise. We know the intensity South can bring to a match. We know how tough they can be. I have no interpretation of what he said. What's important is to make sure our players are prepared. So not really willing to engage in a war of words with Rassie Erasmus. I like the part where he says that he's well versed in this kind of exercise. He knows that Rassie Erasmus will play to the media and to the crowd a little bit. He was then asked a little bit about on Anthony Gelanche and Bai, just talking about the fact that they're both great players and that having to come back from injuries and really sort of get better has obviously been a big aspect of the game. But as we've probably seen, they've come back pretty strong. Gregory Aldred was then asked about protecting Anton Dupont. He says that we know that in rugby, if you touch the head, it's a red card. He saw the surgeon who gave him the green light. Anton is an intelligent, sensible person. If he says he can play, it's because he's fully fit. Um, he was then asked about the South African physicality. He says that we're making progress match by match. So are they. We know that how they're going to play. Their DNA, their rugby is based on physicality. It's up to us to be putting more intensity than usual for 80 minutes. We saw in Marseille last year that they're a team that stays in the game for 80 minutes. We've been warned. He's then asked about the South African back row, and he says, I think they're a reflection of the team. A back row that gives a lot in defense and attack for 80 minutes. It's a great challenge. It's going to be a great battle. We're looking forward to. Very interesting as well on discipline. He was then said in top level matches, the less time you give your opponents, the better. If we can avoid giving away penalties, it'll be very interesting. We'll be concentrating hard on that. At this level, you have to be clean. That is the thing for me is going to be a very big aspect of the game. The team that concedes the fewest penalties, the team that doesn't make those infringements, the team that doesn't allow the other team to gain ascendancy based on small moments. You really earn every single yard you make, every single opportunity needs to be earned without giving away cheap penalties. I think that is going to be a massive, massive part of it. Anthony Gelange was then asked about his return from an ACL injury in 6 months. He said, right from the start, I felt pretty good against Uruguay. I felt much better against Namibia and against Italy. It's just got better and better. I'm getting stronger. I can't wait for Sunday. My knee's fine. There's no pain. I took good care of it for 6 months. I managed to get it back to its best. I'm very happy. He was asked about the 7-1 split. He says that we don't know what they've planned. We're sure they'll come up with something. We're expecting a very strong team who won't give it, who won't give up, and he will try and get on top of us physically. It's up to us to respond. He was then asked about Sekulisi. He says he has come back even quicker than me. He's a great player, a great captain of South Africa. He's an important member of their team. He'll give us all this weekend. It's a great pleasure to play against him. And he was asked about last year, where he said it is very physical, brutal. We have to come up against teams like that. We're looking forward to Sunday. They'll still be carrying that defeat from November with them. We know very well with this match it will be even more intense, but we're ready. So yeah, apparently they're ready. Yeah, I think again all the sort of right things. They're not giving too much away with regards to what they're looking at and what they're expecting. Obviously, the physicality is the standard thing that people look at when it comes to preparing for South Africa. It's you have to match them up front. I do think these days, whilst the South African team is incredibly physical, I think a lot of teams are acknowledging that that there's more to it as well. In the last 2 years, I think we have developed a bit more in the attack, and I think if you get caught up in just being able to match yourself physically, I think you leave yourself susceptible for some of the X factor players like a Damian Willemse, Currie, Ches, and Cole. They're not the most physical players, but if there's space, they'll find it. So it's an interesting sort of aspect where physicality always dominates conversations and will definitely dominate a lot of the planning that France will do. But you can't look at an isolation because there's a lot more than just physicality when it comes to South Africa. But sometimes they can make it a 10-man game, and they know that they will outmuscle any pack. That's basically what our fallback is, and we've done in the past to great success. This is a French pack which is not that easy to physically dominate, and I think the French team know that. They know that they're not, they know that the size of their pack. Funny enough, they're actually a pack that are very big, and if you get them moving around, can sometimes tire out. So it'll be very interesting to see the different tactics the two teams deploy this weekend and try to sort of get one over on the other on each other. But yeah, let me know what you thought about some of those comments and what stood out for you down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon.